name is Pejman Ghadimi, and I'm the founder of Entourage.com, as well as the author of Third Circle Theory. Most of my upbringing was, I was born in Iran, but I was raised in Paris. Technically, to today's standards, we're very poor. But to the standards of having a home and living somewhere and not actually being on the streets, my mom had done a fine job at giving us kind of the minimum requirements we needed to be able to function. You know, we had a home, we had food and things of the sort. That was never the issue. The one thing that did kind of change my perspective was I was very young and I knew that my mom could only provide for my survival. It would have been unfair to expect her to provide for the luxuries that I liked in life. I decided early on that the more I could contribute, to helping my mom, and the more I could kind of contribute to growing my own life early on, the less burden it would be on her, and then the quicker I could transition from going from someone who only has what they need to getting some of the things I wanted. And so I went to work very early on. There's no such thing as rejection, and it really shouldn't hold you back. When I was 14, my first job was to be a telemarketer. And telemarketing, I know, may sound like a terrible profession. It may sound like a boring and annoying, you're that annoying guy that calls everybody, gets hanged up on 10 times, an hour if you're lucky, if not 100 times an hour. But nonetheless, it's one of those professions that I think a lot of people don't want to have. A lot of people look at that as a negative rather than a positive. I think that there's a positive in everything we do. So ultimately what I did was I just learned to get rejected quickly and move on. And I think through the years, that's helped me a lot, because it's almost like it's taught me to not slow down every time I get rejected for anything. I believe that the more we learn through experience, the further we get in life. I'm a big believer in self-education. I never had a chance to go to college, and so I really spent the majority of my non-college years focusing on companies, or I would say on businesses that would end up teaching me something. So I got my real estate license just to learn real estate, not to actually go and practice it, but just to learn it. And I got into banking early on just to understand, the core of how money functions, and investing and lending primarily. When people ask me, well, you didn't go to college, I'm like, no, but I learned more out of college than I would have in college. So there's a difference. Like, people don't go to school because they don't like school. I didn't go to school because I felt that I could learn more outside of school, and I actually went out and learned it. So there's a difference. Like, you can sit there and not do shit, or you can really go out there and find a way to find an alternative to what you were supposed to be doing. Whoever can master their fears the fastest grows the fastest. I think the most dangerous, in a good way, and the most successful person at the table is always the one with the least amount of fears. When I really undertook entrepreneurship, which was about 4 or 5 years ago, I really believed that I would do so for the impact it was making on people. So I wanted to create something that would change the way people function and give people the same opportunities I had in life, which were great role models, great people who have influenced my thinking. My personal and business philosophy now are very aligned, and they're all about people and how far we can take a person's growth until they're strong enough to grow on their own and continue to go even past your own growth. Success is defined differently for every single person, but for me, I think it goes back to the impact we make on people's lives. And so kind of came the birth of Secret Entourage. The main element behind it is to gear success stories as well as really effective ways to be successful in various things, taught by experts in their own industries, because I'm not an expert in everything, so everybody kind of shares their insight. The only minimum requirement is that it has to be from experience. It can't be from textbook. We decided to focus on Gen Y because we felt that Generation Y didn't have a platform out there that was fun and exciting to get motivated on. So instead of actually taking just imagery and writing that matches, we took the nitty-gritty stories of the success stories of those people that we felt were interesting enough to talk to, but illustrated them through imagery that would interest younger people. So instead of just saying, here's this guy's Lamborghini, we don't even talk about the car. We instead talk about the experience behind the car, and then talk about the business elements that led the person to the cars. Its message and its movement is much more important than just being another website. It offers motivation for everyone for free. And I think for people who want to further their education, it offers them the ability to learn from people with experience at a minimal costs of 20-30 bucks a month versus a tuition of $10,000 a year. And I promise you that you'll learn more from just the stories you hear and the courses and just being exposed to these individuals than you'll learn from that one textbook. People matter more than anything else. And so if you invest in people, if you invest in their ability to do well, if you believe in them and give them the tools to succeed, and you give them just enough leadership in their life, they can really help take you further. What you do, it's not a 2-year plan, not a 3-year get rich quick, no matter what you see on TV. It's a 10-year plan. So ask yourself, are you willing to work the next 10 years of your life harder than anyone else so that you can live, the next 40, 50 years of your life like no one else can? So if you can, and if you want to, and you're willing to put in the hard work, then that's truly what entrepreneurship is.